Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvasesha Sunyavadi Paskachade Satarane Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shiva Sari Go Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, as you all know, today is Krishna Janmastami. And we say the appearance day of Krishna. Why do we say appearance day? You could do me a favor. You right there with a hat on. You could zip out to the front book table and get my glasses. Go like the wind. Not like an old lady. Go like the wind. Because I'm literally flying blind here. We say appearance because the sun. I have on my phone for chanting Gayatri, I have something that will calculate the time of the sunrise, the time of the sunset. So the sun has a fixed time, it adjusts, but has a fixed time that it comes over the horizon, isn't it? So we could say, oh, the sun appears and the sun disappears. Does the sun actually appear and disappear? Oh, you are efficient. Thank you very much. Thanks, appreciate it. Does the sun appear and disappear? Is the sun born every morning and disappear? What is the actual situation? It's eternally situated. But according to our situation, it manifests and unmanifests. So Krishna is eternal. Krishna is the supreme Brahman. He's the Adi Purusha. He's the first person. He's the cause of all causes. Brahma Samhita gives the example, from one candle, I can light another candle, I can light another candle, I can light so many other candles, right? Still there's a first candle. So Krishna is the original cause, sarva karana karanam. But when he appears in this world, 5,000 years ago in Mathura, he's manifesting in this world like the sun appearing over the horizon. We should never think that Krishna's appeared like some mortal. No, that's all foolishness. So that's out of the way. The Bhagavatam, my spiritual master told a joke. He actually had quite a nice sense of humor. This is the founder of the Hare Krishna movement. I met him in 1969. But people say, oh, I know Krishna, I know Bhagavad Gita, But really, do they know? It's actually a deep study, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in a second. I want to leave you with a few pictures in your mind. But, oh, I know Bhagavad Gita, oh, I know Krishna, oh, I know what the Vedic religion. There was a man who went to a foreign country and did not speak the language. His friend said, no problem, you learn a couple words, it'll all work out. They taught him to say yes, no, and very good. Now, if you've ever been to a foreign country, I'm sure many of you have, and not speak, you can get a lot done with yes, no, very good. A little pantomime, a little pointing, you can get a lot done. But it doesn't always work. So the joke, to make a point that my guru told, this man goes to a foreign country, all he knows is yes, no, and very good. Everything's working fine. One day he's in front of a bank. Some robbers come, rob the bank, run away. He doesn't know what happened. He's standing there. Police show up. They ask him, did you rob the bank? He doesn't know what they said. He says, yes. The police said, well, give the money back. He said, no. They said, well, then you're going to go to jail. He said, very good. Off he went. So the point is, a little bit of knowledge, if you really don't understand, you can get yourself into trouble or miss the point. So the Vedic literature Like they say Bible, biblical, Quran, Quranic. We say Vedic. Vedic means it's based on the teachings of the Vedas. The Vedas are the eternal truth written down by Srila Vyasadeva. I mean, most of you know this, but just to refresh. So there is a section, there is, like a tree, the Bhagavatam is called the Bhagavad Purana. There's 18 Puranas, 3 in the mode of, 6 in the mode of ignorance, tamagun, 6 for those in the mode of passion, and 6 in the mode of goodness. For those of spiritual inclination, if you picture a tree, the tree of Vedic knowledge, it's called Kalpataro. It can fulfill all desires. Whatever you're interested in the Bhagavatam, it'll explain. Wherever you're at, the Bhagavad Purana gives instruction. But the ripened fruit, the apex, the perfection of the entire Vedic tree of knowledge, is the Bhagavad Purana, Srimad Bhagavatam. I want to encourage you to read Srimad Bhagavatam. We actually have, and it sounds mercantile, but it's the truth, the Bhagavatam, 12 cantos, 18 volumes, the encyclopedia of spiritual knowledge, summary study of the Ramayana, summary study of the Mahabharata, the story of Prahlad and Nrsimha, of Kunti and the battlefield of Kurukshetra. All of that rich Vedic knowledge is contained in the Bhagavatam. We are selling the Bhagavatam tonight because it's Janmastami. It usually goes for $300. We are selling at practically cost $250. We have in English, we have in Hindi, we have in Gujarati, we have in Spanish, we have in Telugu. Everyone here teaches their children how to brush their teeth. You send them all to school. You send them to you send them to the doctor. You teach them how to cross the street. What about teaching them spiritual knowledge? Where is that? Because if they learn the richness of the Vedic history, if they learn these pastimes, these stories, these leelas, these narrations, they learn to be kind, they learn to be truthful, they learn to do their duty, they learn to be brave. All of these values become instilled by knowing the stories of Bhagavatam, the historical narrations. It is the best thing you can do for yourself, for your children, and for the world, is to read Bhagavatam. You can read 10 minutes a day. So there it is. But to give you an idea, and if you're interested in getting a set of Srimad Bhagavatams tonight, you can pay on card, whatever. We will do anything we can to have you take home the Bhagavatam set. It is the greatest punya or pious activity, is having the Bhagavatam in your house. I've done that. Now, to give you an example of why the Bhagavatam matters, just a few examples. Does anyone here know from the Bhagavatam, this section, this is from the 11th canto of the Bhagavatam. There are 12 cantos. The 11th canto, there's a conversation with these sages, and they're speaking to a king. But the king is very proud, so it's a little hard for him to listen. So here's how they go at it. They give an analogy. Does anyone here know why wisdom? I told you there'd be a quiz. Ladies, right here, I'm asking you. Blue sweater, orange sweater. Hello. Welcome back. Hello. I'm asking you a question. You ready? Okay. Does anyone know why knowledge, wisdom is like shoes? Like wearing a pair of shoes. Shoes we consider to be unclean, so many, but in this analogy, why can wisdom be compared to shoes? What did you say? You leave them outside. You don't want to leave wisdom outside. We want to keep it with us. No, it's all right. Good to guess. Don't worry. No problem. Anyone else want to guess? Oh, little young lady, why?
Because, like, you always want to wear shoes when it's dirty
out of the mouth of babes. She said if you want to walk where it's dirty or where there's sticks, stones, hard to walk, you go barefoot. Is it a nice experience? No. Who said no? Very good. If you put on shoes, you can walk very easily, isn't it? Similarly, I mean, you'll find out, well, you're my age, there's so many things that happen in life. There's difficulties in life. We can't deny it. It's inevitable. But if we have the shoes of wisdom, we can traverse the path of life very easily. You try to walk barefoot, you try to leave knowledge outside, out of your life, we will suffer like anything. So the great sages and saints of our Vedic tradition have put all that knowledge into the Bhagavatam just to help us traverse the path of life. It is the most valuable thing you can have in your house. Let me give you one example that these sages give to a king. They ask him, it's called Enlightenment from the Natural Path. That's the section. And it takes so many examples from nature, and what can we learn from them? What can we learn from the ocean? I'll give you a few examples. And if you don't remember anything else, go home with this picture in your mind, because it will help you in life. What can we learn from the ocean? If you look at the ocean, it's very choppy on top sometimes. When the wind is blowing, a lot of waves. You follow me? A lot of waves, so many, there's the Gulf Stream, so many things going on. If you go down deep, 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 deep in the ocean, it's very steady and peaceful. Okay? That's the picture the sages are giving to this king. In life, there's so many things that happen, so many agitations. I mean, drive-by shootings, people cut you off. I mean, people fight over I saw somebody fighting over a shopping cart, two ladies. I mean, come on, you know? But there's so many agitations in life. It's guaranteed. The big ones, small ones. But if one goes deep, if one's deep in knowledge, wait a minute, I'm eternal. I've had so many lifetimes. I've been kings and queens and bugs and this. Let me fix on my duty in this, not get so disturbed about the little petty things. So if one is deep, one is not agitated. I'll give you another example. How many rivers enter into the ocean? When you go home today, do a Google search, Google images, look at the Amazon, the Gulf of the Delta, the mouth of the Amazon or the Congo River or the Ganga or the Mississippi. Billions, with a B, billions of tons of water, of so many rivers are entering into the ocean. If just one of those tributaries was flowing into this room, what would happen? We'd all be blown away in a second. And yet, so many rivers enter into the ocean, and the ocean is steady. You can walk along the beach. I mean, there's a tidal flow, but you can walk. Think about it. How is it possible? Billions of tons of water flowing into the ocean, and the ocean remains steady. So we can learn from the ocean, from the rivers of the senses. From our ears, things are flowing in, from our eyes, from our tongue, from anger, from lust. They're all flowing in. But if the mind is deep, if we remember who we are and what the purpose of life is, we cannot change conditions. It's going to be hot some days, it's going to be cold some days. We can go to the doctor, so many things. The best laid plans of mice and men do oft go astray. We cannot control conditions. Things are going to happen right out of the blue. You can pick up the phone and something horrible has happened. It happens to us. So we can't, everyone's trying to control conditions. Like get the right house, get the right bank balance, get the right doctor, exercise. Those are all good things. Don't get me wrong. But ultimately, that we cannot control all those diverse factors. What can we control? We can't control what happens to us, but what can we control? How we react, how we respond. We can't control events, but we can control how we respond to them. If we become deep, like the ocean with spiritual knowledge, if we remember who we are, If we remember, behind everything, there is ultimately a purpose. Everything has a purpose. You know, in Sanskrit, you know, in the West or in English, they say something happened by chance. You ever heard this? Yeah. Oh, it happened by chance. You've heard that? In Sanskrit, there is no such phrase. Things don't happen by chance. You know what the word they use is? Dristya. Dristya means that there's a cause, we just don't see it. You may think, I may think it happened by chance. No, there's a cause. There's a cause, there's a purpose, there's a reason. Everything is laid out. There's karma, and now it's bearing fruit. And it's, you know what the Latin word education means? The root of the Latin word education, it's not just gathering facts and figures so you can get a good job. No problem with that. But the real meaning means to draw forth, to bring out, as from darkness into light. That's the real meaning of the word education. So if we're deep with knowledge, if we remember who we are and how this world is working, and things are not happening by chance and I'm being blown like a football, but wait a minute, what can I learn from this experience? Then we become peaceful like the ocean. Now I'm going to ask you another one. That's what we can learn from the ocean. What can we learn from a tree? Anyone want to guess what you can learn from a tree? Who wants shade? We'll get back to shade in a second. You're on to something. What's another thing we can learn from a tree? Giving. Who said giving? Way to go. I'm going to wrap this up. What's another? Do you ever see a tree say, hey, look, I'm tired of standing here. It's too cold. I'm moving to Florida. You ever see a tree out there hitchhiking or getting on the they stay there. They tolerate. It's hot. It's cold. People carve their initials. People cut them down. Dogs, I'm sorry, offer their respects in their own fashion. It's not always a whole lot of fun being a tree. So in spite of being in a difficult condition, what did you say? What does a tree keep doing? It continues to give shade. It continues to give fruit. Yeah, go ahead and say. It takes less and it gives more. In spite of being in a difficult, challenging condition, the tree continues to serve others, and it doesn't discriminate. Does the tree say, hey, no shade for you, buddy, fold up its branches? Just a sec. But the tree, we can learn from a tree to be tolerant, to forego difficult situations, to continue to give, and give without discrimination. That's what we can learn from a tree. What can we learn from, what time is it? We're supposed to end at 11 o'clock. What time is it? Oh, we got a few more minutes. What can we learn from a mountain? You're energetic, aren't you? What can we learn from a mountain? What did you say? Never mind. Oh, no. Sorry. Actually, I'm going to work with never mind. If you look at, what is the mountain range right here where Mount Palomar is and Julian and all that stuff? There's a name for these mountains. It's wet on one side. On the other side, the desert starts. Because they get their moisture from the ocean and it blows and the clouds catch on they call it the watershed side. I forget what it's called. And that's where all the water comes out. So storms are pounding on the mountains. Pounding. Lightning. Thunder. Does the mountain move an inch? In spite of difficulty, the mountain stays. The storm will come. The storm will go. The mountain stays. What can we learn from the mountain? That difficulties will come. We will be up in, but we don't give up our duty. We don't give up. We're determined. You stay steady like the mountain in the face of deep adversity. That's what we can learn from a mountain. So we can learn from the ocean. We can learn from the trees. We can learn from the mountain. Here's another thing. We can learn from the moon. What can we learn from the moon? What does the moon do? This is a big hint. Low, underhand, easy pitch. What does the moon go through In a month. Oh, come on. Phases. Who said phases? So the moon changes its shape. Or so we think. But you know what I'm talking? It's a sliver of a moon, then it gets in a full moon, and you know. Is the moon actually changing its shape? Who said no? Up, defend your answer. Who said? Not actually shadow. What is it? It's how it reflects the sun. But the point is, the moon remains the same shape. Our perception, our angle of vision, makes it appear as if the moon is changing shape. But the moon itself stays the same thing, isn't it? You with me? Okay. This body. Where do we start? Somebody had a little baby. Somebody had a tiny baby. The lady I was picking on had a little baby. Yeah. I chased her out. Sorry about that. But anyone know the riddle of the Sphinx? The riddle of the Sphinx goes like this. What? Don't worry, we're almost done. You're in the home stretch. What animal walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs at noon, and 3 legs in the evening? What animal? Single animal. 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs in the noon, and 3 legs in the evening. Anyone guess? Ah, right there. Man, defend your answer. Don't be scared, you're right. Now, 4 legs, how is that? So a baby is crawling on 4 legs. Well, okay, you got 1 right. What about the 2? When you're standing up, you're on 2 legs. All right. What's the last one? When you're an old man, you got a 3rd leg, isn't it? So it's the same person, but the body changes. Just like the moon goes through phases, but if we remember, wait a minute, Aham Brahmasmi, I'm eternal soul. Actually, the perfection of understanding I'm eternal is Nitai Sarup Krishna Das. I'm eternally the servant of Krishna. So we can learn from the moon, because I'm going to wrap up now, we can learn from the moon that the body is changing. You know, we get old, Botox, dye your hair gray. I saw a man at the doctor's office being weighed on a scale. He sucked his stomach in. I mean, come on. I mean, you know, it's not going to make any. So we're fighting against time. Our identity is, oh, as long as I'm young and beautiful and healthy. No. I mean, we should take care of ourselves, don't get me wrong. But that's not, if our identity, you know, dye our hair, comb your hair over, get a wig, what. But ultimately, if that's who we identify with, we will suffer because those conditions change. But if we remember, just like the moon, it looks like it's changing, but it's constant. We are the eternal soul. I've had multiple lifetimes, and ultimately the goal is to go back to Krishna, to the spiritual world. We can learn from the moon. What can we learn from the tree? We're wrapping up here. We just talked about it. Yes? Always gives us things and never quits. Very good. To give shade, to be tolerant, to not discriminate, and to always give, to continue serving. Actually, it will make us happy. Okay, now, what can we learn from the ocean? What's on the surface? No, you got to move on. On top of the ocean, I appreciate your enthusiasm. On top of the ocean, what is the nature of the ocean on top? What is the nature very deep? Life will have so many disturbances, but if we're deep in wisdom, we'll be peaceful. Why is wisdom like shoes? What? Help me out. Yes. It protects your feet. You can cross the path of life. So my humble appeal to you, as humble as I get, take home, if you don't want to take the full Bhagavatam set, we have the first canto as an introductory. You can begin by reading the first canto. You'll get the whole story of the battlefield of Kurukshetra, of the Pandavas being banished, of Queen Kunti and her virtue, of Draupadi. All of that's in the first canto. Please Don't just, oh, I come, and it's very good. You come, oh, the Christian's there, and so many things. If I have a jar of honey and I lick the glass, do I get the full taste? What do I have to do if I want to taste the honey? You have to open up the jar, isn't it? So it's very good that you're here. It's nice, but take home some spiritual wisdom. Maybe you remember a few of these analogies and they will help you. Take home these books. They're full of those. It is full of profound wisdom that will be the greatest benefit in your life. Please take home one of these books. And we are done, isn't it? And what time is it? Huh? Please note, where's Rupa Manohar? I did it. Huh? Are we ready? He's not ready? We could take some questions. Are we waiting for Rupa Manohar? Is that okay for you? Anyone have any questions? Don't be shy. Let me ask you another question. Why is wisdom like a... So, Rupa Manohar, I'll go till you tell me to stop. Is that okay? Because I'm ready to stop. I don't want to step on anybody else's time. Okay, so who here knows, wants to guess? If you guess, we'll still be friends. Don't, you can be, no problem. Why is wisdom like a boat? What do we use a boat for? Floating, okay. But that's good. I could go with that. But let's move a little further. What do we use a boat? It's floating, but what is it also? You can cross over. Like I could swim a swimming pool. I can sweep across a small kund or whatever it may be. Can I swim across the Atlantic Ocean? You need a boat. So this world is compared to a vast ocean. So many different lives, so many different obstacles, so many different experiences. How to cross over. Therefore, if you have wisdom, it's like a boat. Why is wisdom like a sword? Anyone want to guess? What do you use to... This kid is ready to go. Yes. A sword will protect you, isn't it? If you're in a dangerous situation. What's that? If you want to, you're right. If I want to go through a jungle and I have a sword, I can cut through. You can cut through ignorance. Sometimes life, turn left, turn. Bhagavad Gita begins, Arjuna, fight, not fight, turn left, turn right. I win the kingdom at the cost of my loved ones. What to do? So life can look like a forest, but with the sword of knowledge, you can cut through. Why is knowledge like a lamp? This is an easy one. Anybody else? No, I want to ask some other people. Anyone know why knowledge is like smart kid? Just as a sidelight, I'm just going till Raj tells me to stop, Rupa Manohar. I was speaking to some kids, and I was giving the example, because it's from the Bhagavatam, this profound book of deep knowledge, which you should all take home with you tonight. But in the Bhagavatam, it gives the example that Krishna has two eyes. God has two eyes in this material world. It's an analogy, but anyone want to guess what the two eyes of God are? What are the two luminaries that are prominent in our experience? Sun and the moon. And the sun is shining in the daytime, the moon is shining at night. So even I close one eye, still the other eye is there. So Krishna sees, God sees everything we do with one of his two eyes. So I gave this analogy, and there was a kid just about this age, said, Swami, Swami. I said, yes. He said, what about a moonless night? I said, this kid, you get it? Because the moon's not there, the sun's not there, so you could do something on a moonless light and Krishna wouldn't see. I told the mom, make this kid an attorney. A lawyer immediately found a loophole, you know, very good. It's a material analogy, you know. But what can we learn? Why is knowledge like a lamp, like a deepa, like a light, lamp? When do you need a lamp? When it's dark. Way to go. And if we're honest, we all have moments in life when we experience darkness or depression or, you know. Everybody who live long enough, it's going to happen to you. Difficult situation, you want a lamp. What's another thing? If it's all dark, you don't know what's there, things that go boom in the dark, you're afraid of the dark, you turn on a light, what happens? What happens to your fear? If you're afraid of the dark, you turn on the light, what happens? Help me out. What happens? He's ready? What happens? You become fearless. So knowledge is like a lamp. It shows the path. It gets rid of fear. So please we should not stumble aimlessly through life like animals, simply reacting to experiences. We should get ahead of the curve, get transcendental knowledge. And the great sages of Vedic India have put them all in these books. Read them. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay? Thank you very much.